Hello, my name is Keith Thomson. We looked last time at a wonderful woman of the faith, Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus. And we recognized how that when Jesus traveled to Jerusalem, he didn't stay in the city, but stayed in Mary, Martha, and Lazarus' house in the village of Bethany. It was Martha who first invited Jesus in. We read that last time in Luke chapter 10. Notice in verse 40 to 42. But Martha was distracted with all her preparations, and she came to him and said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do all the serving alone? Then tell her to help me." But the Lord answered her and said, "Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things, but only one thing is necessary, for Mary has chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her." You see, Martha had taken her hospitality, and she was good at it, but she had made it into a stumbling block for her. She was distracted by this. She thought it wasn't fair that Mary wasn't helping. Now, Mary was feeding off of the Lord's word, and then she went so far as to tell the Lord what he had to do. "Tell her to help me." So Jesus said, "Martha, Martha, you were worried and bothered about so many things. Mary's chosen the good part." Doesn't this sound like what could be said to many of us? We're worried and bothered about so many things. The Bible gives us the answer for worry and anxiety. We find it over in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplications with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God." You see, it says put God first. You're worried about something? Go to God in prayer. Notice the next verse, verse 6. As a result, verse 7 rather, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all comprehension, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus." Martha needed to stop worrying, put God first, as her sister Mary had done so. We go on to the next passage, and that's found in John chapter 11. And this passage talks about when Lazarus died, and the sisters, Mary and Martha, had called for Jesus to come. And he took a while, and Lazarus had died, but Jesus was going to resurrect him. But notice what we read about Martha here. In John chapter 11, verses 20 to 27. "Martha, therefore, when she heard that Jesus was coming, went to meet him, but Mary stayed in the house. Martha then said to Jesus, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Even now I know that whatever you ask of God, God will give you.' And Jesus said to her, 'Your brother will rise again.' Martha said to him, 'I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day.' Jesus said to her, 'I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even if he dies. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?' And she said to him, 'Yes, Lord. I have believed that you are the Christ, the Son of God, even he who comes into the world.'" What a wonderful statement of faith that Martha is giving us here. She really did listen to Jesus, and she put God first. She believed that Jesus could do anything. She believed that Jesus could raise Lazarus from the dead, and she knew that Jesus was the Son of God. He was the Messiah. We can see the enormity of Martha's faith. What a change from this woman who was bothered in the kitchen, banging pots and pans together and complaining about her sister. Now she is standing before the Messiah, giving the good confession, "I believe that you are the Son of God, even he who comes, the Christ." we've got one more passage that we read of about Martha, and it's just a brief mention. We read it last time. It's in the next chapter, in John chapter 12. It's when Jesus came to Bethany just before he was crucified. He came to the house of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. Lazarus is raised from the dead, and we read in John 12, verse 2, "So they made a supper there, and Martha was serving, but Lazarus was one of those reclining at the table with him." We then go on to read about how Mary anointed the Lord with this expensive perfume. The point I want to notice here is it's so similar to the first mention, but the difference is Martha is no longer worried and concerned about many things. Her hospitality isn't distracting her. She's seeing that this is something she can do to serve the Lord. She is showing her faith by the things that she could do to serve the Lord. What a wonderful family we have here in Mary and Martha and Lazarus. They truly are heroes of the faith.